Well, hello, everyone. I am coming today to all of you, calm, sweet, well behaved, but don't worry, it's not going to last. I am Liliana Montenegro, your host and your abuelita to Entre Abuelitas. Muchísimas gracias por acompañarnos. Recuerden que ahora tenemos Entre Abuelitas en español, donde es tan solo una conversación entre tú y yo. For all our Spanish community, please know we have Entre Abuelitas en español, and it's just a little conversation between you and me. So join us every week before or after you hear this program in English. Now, listen, I have to bring you a little update. And just in case you do hear a little doggy here and there, because yes, they are our guests today. So just hang in there with me. But listen, this is Lily Talk. And I have to give an update, a really quick update to my entire caregiving community. For the past few weeks, we've been talking over and over about my mother's fall, my mother's injuries, her stay at the hospital, the fact that a dysfunctional family, it's very hard for all of us to come together at a moment when we don't even know each other. And going through all that, finally getting mom to a rehab facility, only to thank God, find her a beautiful place in a board and care facility, only to find out 3 weeks later, which was today actually, that she can no longer be there because of all the shortcuts. I'm sorry, because of all the cuts the Medi-Cal and Medicare system have given all of our elderly. Well, they just can't afford to pay these locations the amount of money that they want. And I was very surprised to find out truly how much those places are. It is incredible. So, to all of you who are in the caregiving community, hang in there, make your research, make sure that you know everything before you move your parent, because now we have to take her back. And where to? Well, that's going to be another story. So hang in there, do all the research that you can, find out where you are taking them, find out what kind of insurance they have, and make sure that you are allowed to make changes on that policy, because we were asked to make some changes. And at this point, mom never gave that power to anyone but herself. So that is a little difficult, situation that we are in. So we hope to update you next week to see where it is that mom ends up going. But listen, I have to tell you something that happened to me about a little over 20 years ago. I actually met an incredible woman in a theater. She was directing. I was acting. I'm still acting. I'm acting up, is what I'm doing. But never did we know that that would bring us to this particular moment. And I'm going to tell you how that happened. Because years later, when I really, really needed a home, and nobody would say yes to me because I had a very large, loyal dog, she did. She said yes. And that yes would absolutely change everything. Because I have to tell you, living in a 55 plus community, you learn so very much, not only about yourself, but your elder community. This is what inspired this podcast of Entre Abuelitas, only because I got a little tired of watching these elderly people being brought by their families so happy. Look, mom, look, dad, you have a place, never to be seen again until the very end. And that just burns my little behind like you have no idea. I have to tell you, our elders deserve a lot more love, more respect, and more presence in their lives. This is a full circle moment. And without further ado, I'm going to introduce you to the amazing woman who changed that perspective in life for me. She is an actress, a director, as I mentioned. She is a woman of a certain age, like we all are. She's going to share with us all her accomplishments in life and how it is that she got to the point where she is today. She is a graduate of San Francisco State and the American Conservatory Theater. I mean, that is prestigious. And she's an amazing, talented, and beautiful woman. Please let me introduce to all of you and to the Entre Abuelitas stage my friend, Tchia Casselle. Yay!
Hello, everyone. Hello. Oh, and Dobby says hello too.
They heard me clap and they got
Yeah,
excited.
exactly. Dob, it's okay.
Oh, I'll be a little more quiet. I told you guys
it
it wasn't gonna last.
was just the clapping.
Chia, talk to us about you. Where were you born?
Okay.
Where are you now? We'll start from the beginning.
Okay. I was born in the San Francisco Bay Area. Grew up most of my life there. Went to college there in San Francisco. ACT is also in San Francisco. Spent a lot of time there, and then decided that I wanted to move down to LA. My mother was living in Bakersfield at the time. I just
Okay.
finished college and everything. I was probably 25, and I had a premonition that something was going on with my mom. She was not
Oh,
going to live very long. She was only 53. So I went down to Bakersfield where she was living, did a play
okay.
there because I hated it. I needed something to do. Bakersfield
I
was
don't
not
think
my,
there's much to do in Bakersfield,
yeah,
even to
Bakersfield
today.
was not my speed. And I saw a post for a play. I went over and auditioned, got a role, and started doing the play. So at the end of the play, my mother said to me, "Hey, I know you're not happy here. What if I give you $10,000 to go to LA?" And I went, okay. And then I
Now,
really knew something was wrong because that was
oh,
not my mother's nature.
that was going to be my next question. So, was she doing it for a purpose? Did she know she was sick and dying?
I think that she thought that she was not well. I mean, she was 53, so I don't know that she
So
thought,
young.
yeah, but one day I went into her room and it was maybe 1 o'clock in the morning. She was sitting up on the bed and she was sitting there smoking a cigarette. And she turned to me and said, "The stagecoach is coming." She put her cigarette out and she went to sleep. And I went, okay. So I moved to LA, got all settled, and 3 weeks later, she passed away, had a heart
But
attack, and
she
died.
had a heart attack. Were
Yeah.
you able to find out if there had been anything else wrong with her, or?
She's been diabetic for many years, probably since she was pregnant with me. I would assume. But I know she had it like my entire life. I knew her as a diabetic, and she
Right.
had said to me, "If they want to cut my foot off, I don't think I could do it." And she was prone to getting infections, and a lot of that's something that older people have to really be careful with, especially if they're diabetic.
Right.
Their feet, and she had an infection in her foot, and she said, "I can't do it. I can't. I don't think I can start over again." And they put her in the hospital for this infection. They were going to try some heavy duty antibiotics. And they went into the room and said they were going to have to cut her foot off. And she had a heart attack.
Wow. So
And
young. Now let me ask you, where did the acting bug come in for you? Was your mom in the business?
no, not at all. Not
No.
at all. This is funny. I was premature and I was born allergic to my mother's blood. Kind of set up the relationship, but that's
Whoa,
neither here.
whoa. What?
I
I
was
have
born
never heard that, Chia. What
Yes.
explain that to us and to our listeners. What
It's
is
a
that?
rare thing where you don't accept the mother's blood. Your mother's blood type and your blood type don't match, and they don't know why that happens. So I had to have a double transfusion when I was born. So they took all the
So
blood out
that's
one
why
side and put it all in. So
so
I've
that's why
been
you were born so soon.
Yes,
The body just
I
didn't
was
want you in there.
I wanted to get the hell out.
No kidding. You wanted to
So
survive. You're a survivor
yeah,
from day one.
I've been told that. So I was in the hospital for like 3 weeks or so, 4 weeks. When they
Yeah.
brought me home, the next door neighbor came over, looked in the crib, and went, "Oh my God, she's an actress."
What?
I swear, my mother told that story my whole life.
Was there any more background to it? Why she said it or
Nope,
anything? Was
I
it?
have no idea.
Oh my
I have no idea. But it stuck, and everybody said, "Oh, she's such an actress." Now, they didn't mean it in the most positive way, but it
They meant
stuck
it
for
like
me.
pretending, but
Right.
at the same
Yeah.
time, she was actually blessing you with a dream.
Yes. Yeah.
Wow.
So, I did my first play at like 7. I played the fairy godmother in Cinderella. And yeah, I had to
Oh.
sing Bippity Boppity Boo and all that good stuff. They literally had to push me onto the stage. I had stage fright so bad.
Oh my
However,
God.
they practically had to get a hook to get me off. Because as soon as I heard the applause and I finished my song and I was so happy, I was like, I
You
like
were hooked.
this. Oh,
It's
I can do
nice.
this. Yeah.
You know, it's funny that you say at 7 because at 7 I did my first play on stage. It was a comedy and I was a grandmother.
Oh,
Is that the most hilarious thing? All
I,
children, but I was grandma. And I
yep,
was
I
the
had
grandma
plenty of
that they
those.
I was the grandma that they would do anything to, and by the time I would sit, they would pull the chair. By the time I'd eat, they'd take the food. It was really I can still remember it, but how
Oh,
cute is
how
that?
funny.
But now tell me, you were a single, an only child,
Yes.
and where your dad? You said he's still with us somewhere in the country.
Somewhere. My father was, well, put it this way, F. Lee Bailey, who was a very famous San Francisco attorney,
Attorney, yes.
yes, told my mother that my father had the greatest criminal mind he'd ever met, and no jail would ever hold him.
Your father is a criminal?
Yes, he was. I don't know if he still is. He went
Well, once
underground
a
on,
criminal is like an addiction, once an addict, it's
yeah,
like the same thing.
there he was the youngest person uh at his age at 17 to be recruited into naval intelligence, and because he was
Smart.
super super smart. And
Wow.
so he didn't like that side of things so much, and he liked the bad side, so he went the other way. And
It was more
you know
thrilling.
yes, and he went underground when I was 8, and I didn't speak to him again until probably until I was like 30, 35, something like that.
And you've seen him last when?
I saw him like maybe, well, 15 years ago.
Wow.
And it's
No.
very odd to have a kind of, to see somebody, know that's your father, but you've
Right.
never really spoken to him. You've never
Wow.
spoken to him. You've never, so the conversation was very stilted. It was like, he didn't know me, I didn't know him, and but yet he wanted me to stay. He was trying to get me to stay and hang out longer and stuff, and I felt really uncomfortable. And I was like really kind of pissed off too, because I hadn't seen him for X amount of years. So I was like, where were you when my mother was being crazy and my mother was doing all her nutsy stuff, and I was a kid trying to survive, you
Yeah.
know?
And
So
his
he
answer
said,
was any?
he said, "I couldn't be around her. I had to get away." And I said, "Well, why didn't you take me with you?" And he said, "Well, back in those days, the court didn't give custody to men. And I had a
That
lifestyle that was not
well,
conducive. He had a lifestyle that he really couldn't take me, you know?"
wow. Wow.
So,
Better yet, we don't know where you would have ended up. Probably
yeah,
acting out the criminal mind and on
yes.
stage somewhere in the United States, going theater to theater, running from one place to
Yeah.
another.
I I took a career test twice in my life. Once, like when early college, when I was at San Francisco State, and then again years later when I was in New York. And both times it said I should be either an actor or a private detective. Yeah. I have that
Well,
mind that wants to like root out
we're
stuff.
gonna get to the private detective at the end because it's kind of what you do nowadays.
Yeah.
But when you were young, there was one person that you were one grandparent you were close to. Talk to us about that beautiful Grandma Myrtle.
She was a piece of work. Her name was Myrtle Lee Morris, and we
What a
called her
pretty
Murdy.
name.
We called her Murdy May, and she was from the South. She
Oh,
was from the South, and she had bright red hair. I mean, it was. I still remember it was Clairol Copper Penny was the color she used. It was so, and
you
she
are
had it always in the
hilarious.
40s. Always in a 40s thing. I would put her, roll her hair for her, and she
Roll.
put it in the little 40s thing. And in
Wow.
the 90s, she was wearing the 40s. So, you know,
Oh.
but that
How
was who
long
she
did she
was.
live? How long did
She
she
was
live?
82 when she passed away.
Still
Pancreatic
young.
cancer, yeah. She had pancreatic cancer and she went very quickly, which yay, because it's a painful way to go. So
Well, not only that, but it's funny that you mentioned that she went quick because my father was also diagnosed with pancreatic cancer, died fairly soon after that, within the month. We had never known, and it was never found until the very end.
that was what
So,
happened with my grandmother. She was bright yellow, and the doctor said, well, she either has liver cancer, pancreatic cancer, or hepatitis. And we ruled out hepatitis right away, so we knew it wasn't good. And she died literally 4 weeks and 4 days after the diagnosis came.
yeah, my dad died very quickly. He was at the hospital being diagnosed December 23rd, and he passed away January 11th.
Yeah. Yeah. Wow. That
So
was really quick.
that was
Really
18
quick.
days. Yeah,
Yeah. Wow.
3 weeks. Yeah. And
Wow.
by the end, hospice was the only thing because he was in so much pain. It was climbing the walls, literally.
Uh,
But we want to talk about Granny.
Good
Tell us
stuff.
about when she was alive, and because she was a hilarious, never to be forgotten woman. Talk to
Yes.
us about her.
Well, she was, if you believe in astrology, she was a triple Scorpio. So, um, she was anything that she thought was the truth. So, if I'll tell you, one time we went to get something at a store, go shopping. We would do that often. We go shop. She'd call it tooling around, and we'd get in the car and go have lunch and go shopping. And on the way
Is
back,
that like window shopping?
no, we go into the stores and walk around and stuff. That's tooling around. Tooling, I guess, is
Oh.
like the southern way to say walking.
Oh
So we
my
did,
God, that's. Did she have
hanging
a
out.
really cute accent?
Yes,
Can
war
you say?
war
Can you
car.
do a little?
Yeah, well, dang it, Tchia, let's go. Come on, I don't have all day. Let's get on the car and go.
Ay,
You want to go? Let's go.
ay, qué
Okay.
linda. So
you know,
tell us how she was with you.
so she, she was a trip. We were in the car and she's in the right hand lane. Now we live to the left. So I'm living with her. So we're in the right hand lane. It's a busy street. It's not deserted. And she starts to make a left hand turn from the right hand lane. And I went, oh, well, they all know I live that way. And I went, they do?
What was the town
Everybody
population?
knows.
100?
Yeah. Everybody knows I live over there. I'm like, okay.
Where was this? What was this in San
Redwood
Francisco?
City.
No.
Yeah, it was Redwood City,
Oh,
which is just south of San Francisco, about 40 minutes down,
a
20 minutes, 40
beautiful
minutes. Yeah.
area.
Yeah.
Beautiful area.
Used to be called climate best by government test, is what the sign said when you were coming into Redwood City.
Oh,
Supposedly the
really?
climate was the best in the area.
And
So
she lived there by herself?
she bought a house during World War II. She was a Rosie the Riveter. I have
Talk.
pictures of her.
Oh my goodness.
I have pictures of her at Linkert in her little uniform, little bandana on,
No.
riveting the
Oh my God.
airplanes. Yeah.
That
So,
is
and
beautiful.
yeah. And she had very little education. She brought her two kids, my mom and my Uncle Claude, on the back of it. She hitchhiked on the back of a truck, total grapes of wrath, stopping, picking grapes, picking cotton for money. That's how she got here from Oklahoma.
Oh my
You know,
God.
and then she got up to the San Francisco Bay Area, got a job with Linkarts. No education. She had to drop out of school in sixth grade because her father died, and there were 13
Okay,
brothers and
okay,
sisters.
but where was Grandpa?
Which one? She was married 5 times.
Oh, she's a woman after my own heart.
Yeah. She was married. My mother was married 5 times. My grandmother was married 5 times. Guess how many times I've been married?
Zero.
0. Yeah, no.
Yeah, no.
Yeah,
but
no.
okay, so she's married the whole time, so she's never alone.
She would marry and divorce and marry. I knew a gentleman by the name of we called him Doc. His name was Vic, but I never knew him by that. But Doc was, in my view, grandpa. He really wasn't. My mother's father was my grandpa, but they were already divorced. They married at 15. And they'd already divorced. He was married to somebody else and living in Texas. So I never met him. But Doc was the one that was around during my childhood. I would sit on his lap and play poker when he was playing poker with the
Oh
guys.
my God. Oh
You
my
know,
God.
they'd
You,
have
you,
weekly card games.
I love your life. Okay. So far, your father is a criminal.
I know. I would,
Your grandmother and the kids were
yeah,
on trucks picking cotton and grapes. She
yeah.
was Rosie the Riveter back during the war. I mean, I love her for she had an amazing life. So what
She
did you
bought
learn
her
from
own
her?
house.
How was she with you?
Well, she was she was a bit because she thought what she thought was true.
Right.
She had her opinions and
Mhm.
she would inflict them on everyone, my mother and me and Claude. Um, you know. So it was difficult. It wasn't always easy. She would do things, she would say horrible. She had friends who were African American, yet when she was at the house, she would say horrible racist things about somebody on TV. Oh, turn on that guy. And I'd say, and I got to the point, it used to make me really mad. And she couldn't figure out why I was mad. And I finally realized the thing to do was just get up and start to leave. And as soon as
Why would she do that? That kind of
because when she grew up saying things like, I'm really sorry, everybody who's going to hear this, I like to see him dance. She was, talking about Michael Jackson or like, he's Rodney Allen Rippey or somebody. And in where she grew up, that's just how you referred to people who were
what
African
year was
American.
what year was that more or less?
Well, it was when I was, probably in the 80s. I was grown. I was
Hmm.
living in San Francisco and I'd come to visit her and she'd say stuff like that. When in the 70s, I just like get hugely mad. And then by the 80s, I would learn that just get up and start to leave. Because as soon as I started to leave, she would go, What did I say? What did I say? Because she knew it when
Wow,
I was leaving.
what a confusing way to grow up in society when so much is so bad, but at the same time, as a child, you get your friends, you grow up, you keep them, whatever color or race or wherever they come from, but you still have these beliefs that
Yeah.
are like you said,
100%
she
true.
whatever she thought was true, so that's what she was taught, that whatever they told her was also
Yeah.
truth.
But
So.
she had friends at work. One of her best friends was a guy named Sylvester who she worked with who was African American. He used to come over for dinner all the time. And she treated him like gold and loved him dearly. It was just she just didn't know the words were not appropriate.
Well, we also said that she never finished school.
Yeah. True. Yeah, and she
So,
had to take care of her brothers and sisters while her mother was out working in the farm.
and while they are all picking cotton and grapes and doing whatever it is that they
Well,
can do.
she got married at 15 because, well, she was knocked up, but she got married at 15 and ran away with her husband out of state to get married because they couldn't get married in Oklahoma. So she wanted to get away. She told me when she was dying that she wanted to be either an actress or a brain surgeon.
That's
And I said,
ah,
what's funny is she hated the fact that I was doing theater all the time because it wasn't making money. She was very much
oh,
about, well, what are you doing for money? How are you getting money? You got to get a job, be a secretary. And I went, I will die before I'm a secretary. you know?
wow. Oh my God. So you are close to her until you moved to LA?
Well, yeah, she'd already passed away before she died when I was up in
Oh,
San Francisco when I was in school. Yeah,
okay.
she died. So when I came down to LA, it was just my mother and me left. You know?
But it's sad to think of what confusing times some of our grandparents lived.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, for her, she was so magnificent how, as a young woman, she was working for the war, for to help out. And many women did that back then. There were no men left anywhere, so women got in
Right?
there
They
and
had to.
start. They had to
And she
if
was
we were
not
going to
dumb.
win.
Yeah, she was not stupid. She had a brain, and God knows what she would have been had she had the opportunities to go to
No,
school, to be that brain surgeon
I
or
know.
whatever, you know. But because
Right now,
you know, she could figure
yeah.
things
Well,
out.
she was so sweet, but she was adorable and she was funny. She was entitled to that road.
Yeah,
That was her road. Have they renamed the road? Is what I want to know. Did
yeah,
they did
I
they
know,
make
really.
it? That
Murray
is
May
her road
Avenue.
because everybody knows where she lives. So come on.
Exactly.
And what is the name of that town again?
Redwood City.
Redwood City. Come on. We have to have grandma's name on one of your
That
streets,
would be
please.
funny. That would
That
really
would
be
be
funny.
so amazing. Yeah, and she was called, give me the name of how she was called.
Murray
The
May.
Murdy May. So remember,
Yes.
Murdy May Boulevard. I
Yes.
like the sound of that. Murdy May
That's
Boulevard.
right.
Now you're in LA. Are you trying
Yeah.
to become a great actress? What
Yes, we're
happens?
trying. We're doing. I was at a
We're
theater.
still trying.
Yes, I was at a theater company called Mojo. Some friends of mine, and I went to American New Theater, studied with Eric Morris, and when I was here in LA, and a little bit in San Francisco when he would come up for weekends. But we were at the American New Theater, and then there was a split. Everybody sort of went away from Eric. There were some political issues, and we actually took over the theater and became Mojo Ensemble.
Oh my God.
And at that point, we were running ourselves. So I was doing, everything. I was running the house and acting, and everybody did everything, building sets, and it's a typical theater life.
That's exactly
Um,
what it is.
and you do, when you're young and you're trying to get into the biz, TV, and other stuff, it's
Mhm.
very difficult. I was quite chunky. I was big. I was fat. Let's face it, I was fat.
Oh
Um,
my God. She's talking about, oh, well, no, you weren't. You were beautiful.
Oh no, you did not know me when I was a big girl, big girl. I was over
Oh.
300 pounds. So I was 312 pounds for a long
Wow.
time.
How long
So,
was that, Chia?
I
And
grew
what
up
made you
overweight.
change?
Um, well, one day I said I was living in North Hollywood and I was sitting on the side of the bed and I had a lot of intestinal issues. And I
Mhm.
said, God, either kill me or
Oh,
help me get through this.
oh,
And
Chia.
I then found out that I had a hole in my intestine. So
Is that where the food was going through it? About a stupid joke. Okay, so that's bad.
it was bad, yes. And I was getting septic in my
Of
guts.
course.
They had to put the way they found it is they did a nuclear test. I had to eat radioactive food and they put a camera on in me and watched the food go down for like six
Light up
hours. Yeah.
and light up.
Yeah.
Oh my God. And this
So
was what
then
year?
this was in 1999. And the
Wow.
doctor said to me, so we have to cut out part of your intestines. And while we're in there, and since the insurance is going to pay, and since you're a big girl, I suggest we do a whole gastric
Oh,
bypass because I
oh.
have to take out the intestines anyway. So let's do a
Might as well do
bypass.
it.
And then you'll probably lose 90% of the weight you need to lose. The other 10%, it's on you. And I've been fighting with that other 10% the rest of my
Ever
life.
since.
Yeah.
No, you look beautiful. You are a fashionista. Every time I see you, it's like, hello, I want that outfit. I want it now. Take it off. But you won't listen to me. So I
I
don't know
am
what to do.
I am
Look
a
at the
fashion.
earrings right now.
Yes.
I want, and the glasses. I demand to have them. Of course, those of you who are listening on Spotify or Apple, you're gonna have to request from me a picture of these. I love the earrings and the glasses. She's just
Yeah.
totally a nut. You're a nut, Chia. You really are. But that's the way that you've made it through.
Yes.
Now,
Yes.
after acting, you finally give up
Not really. I went to New York with
because you were
Trina
doing, yeah, you went to New York. But yeah, how long were you in New York? Because
5
that's
years.
when we lost touch.
Yeah,
Yes.
5 years. Yeah, I went to New York, had a horrible experience with a Broadway producer. Um,
Uh-oh.
yeah,
Mm.
and that almost made me quit everything.
Oh.
It was horrible. It unthinkable things he would say and do to me. I was helping to run his theater company that he had uh at Surflight Theater. It was like and it was a
We're
equity
very close to
company.
mentioning the name, people. Stand by. She
Yeah,
mentioned the theater.
yeah. It was, yeah, no. I Well, he passed away. He passed away.
Well, just don't say anything you don't want
Yeah.
anybody to come back at you with.
Well, I mean, people
But you
knew
have to
how
be
he was.
nice in life. You have to be nice in life.
People knew how he was, and he was known for every year during the season he would pick one person to be his whipping post. And I lost who I was during that. Would cry all night. I was just not me.
You know, the
So
business is hard enough without having people
yeah,
treat us like that.
yeah.
Not fair. But
So
you don't give up. You keep
no,
going.
after that Hurricane Sandy hit, and I lost everything in the hurricane because
Oh
I
my
was
goodness.
living at the beach there, running the theater company. So then I moved. FEMA said, "Yeah, you can't stay here anymore. What are you doing here? Go back to the city." So they gave me a
You
little
mean
bit of
you
money.
lost your tent?
Yes, I lo- I lost my little apartment in New Jersey because it
Wow.
was waterlogged, and I had no place to do theater anymore, no job, and no anything. I lost everything. Everything except for my clothes was gone, and I had to get everything I knew cleaned. So I went to New York with like 10 bags of clothes because, face it, I have a lot of clothes, and
Yes, you do.
I
We've
dropped
talked
them off
about
at the
having garage
cleaners.
sales.
I dropped them off at the cleaners and said, "Wash these and deliver them." Because in New York, they deliver your clothes, they clean them and deliver them. So
Yes.
I washed the clothes and had them delivered because that's all I could do. And I started over with a new apartment that luckily FEMA had gotten me on the top of the list to get a cheap apartment in New York. So I was lucky enough to get a great apartment in the East Village,
Nice.
really small, but in New York terms, hey,
Yeah,
yeah.
it's happening.
So
Hey,
right.
yeah, you know what I call my place, right? Because I love it, and because you rented it to me. But this is my own cubicle.
Yeah.
This is my cubicle, and I love it.
Well,
It's also my
hey,
podcast studio, my self
right.
tape studio, my voiceover booth. It's everything.
Imagine an apartment without the bedroom part.
That
Literally,
was
well, not even the kitchen part. It was like
that
it was
tiny.
basically, yeah. It was tiny.
So
It was a
no
studio.
place for a couch or anything. It's just
Oh no,
bed,
no couch, no
bathroom,
couch.
boom, TV,
Bed.
bye bye.
Yes, that was it.
Okay,
Yeah.
so finally you get tired of it all and you come back.
Yes,
And
I was so tired of it. I was just like, the struggle was really hard in New York because, after the whole thing with this person who shall remain nameless,
of
I was
course,
just like, I can't, I'm not doing theater. I can't do this anymore. This,
mhm.
uh, and that, everybody say, "Oh, they're all like that." And I'm like, I can't be that person. I can't be anybody's whipping post. It's just
No,
me.
it's not nice.
So
It's
yeah,
not
so
nice.
Dobby, there's nobody there. So
It's all
Dobby's
right.
putting his 2 cents in.
I
So
know. He didn't like him either.
I know. And he wasn't even born yet.
Well, but he knows of spirits.
Yeah. Maybe it's the reincarnation.
Never know. You never
You
know.
never
Life
know.
is weird and special.
Yeah. So,
But so now you're changing careers.
yeah, I came back, and the first thing I had to do is I just needed to get a job because I needed money. I had to live. I had to have an apartment. I had to have all these things. I'd been doing, when I was running, Right Act and all that stuff
Right.
in Hollywood. I was doing property
That's
management.
how I met
You
her,
know,
Right Act Repertory Theater
yes,
in Hollywood.
right. And our little clubhouse that we had, we
Yeah.
called it Right Act West, and we'd have
Mhm.
rehearsals there. So it was great because
It
I
was
was
so
able
much
to,
fun. Those were good
yeah,
times.
I was able to,
Nice theater.
do the theater and have a job and a steady income. So I was trying to get back into the swing of things. you know. What happened was this job took
Swinging.
over, and it's quite a job. It's very demanding, so I just have not had a lot of time to pursue acting or directing, which of course I would love to do. I just, I it's just not available at the moment with my schedule and where I'm situated, you know, map wise,
Right, right. Well, there is a nice clubhouse, and a stage
Yeah.
could be set up on one
Yes.
corner that I know of where the TV is, and the rest
Yes.
could be just chairs for everybody to watch. So, hey, I'm in.
Yeah. I
But
actually thought about doing a play reading group where I'd pick a play and then have copies for everyone and everybody take a part and we'd read the
yeah,
play and
yeah.
so I
Oh,
actually was
yeah.
ting about doing that
Yeah,
just to
just
get
a read.
something
A
going.
read would
Yes.
be so much fun.
I think
People would really get
interesting
into it.
plays. Yeah.
Hmm.
And I have lots of plays that nobody's ever seen or heard of, which is always interesting to do.
Now,
So
you arrive to this place where I meet you, and you've been here how many years now?
10 years this year. In November, it'll
10
be 10.
years.
Yes,
How
I can't
long
believe
after
it.
New York did you get this job? Was this the first one that you got?
No, because when I left New York, I went back to San Francisco. And I
Oh.
was working in the Bay Area at a seniors community, which was huge, 200 acres. And they were manufactured homes. And I was there for 2 years. And I lived, but the problem was it was so far out. It took
Mhm,
me an hour and a half to go visit friends or have coffee. So and the only people I knew were older people.
mhm,
I didn't have, and there was nothing really in that little town. There was one theater, a
mhm.
few restaurants, and
You
really
just
that
you
was it.
just you just pick the places, don't you? Bakersfield.
I, but it was a great job. The people were
Yeah.
lovely. It's just I didn't have any life for myself.
Right. Right. And you are still
Everything. Yeah.
young.
Yeah. So I started looking about 2 years. I started looking at jobs, and I thought I want to go back to LA. I know people there. I want to do something there. Either that or I have to go up to Los Gatos, which was just financially not a thing because it's
Expensive.
so expensive because of
For those
uh,
Latinos, es Los Gatos.
yes, the tax. Yes,
A
and
super
and the
high tax bracket.
yes, and and the tech industry took over there, and because of
Of
that, it's
course.
just
Even more.
hugely expensive. Yeah. So I started looking down here. I got a job in Redondo Beach, which I was literally right on the beach, running a
Oh,
little
how
apartment
awesome.
complex, which
Right.
was but within a week or two, I knew, oh, I'm not going to be staying here. The
Right.
owners were horrible. They were raising people's rent $300, $400 at a time. And I'm like,
Wow.
stand a $400 increase in their rent twice a year. They were doing it
Wow.
because there was no rent control. And they're like, well, if they
Wow.
don't like it, they can
How
move. We're on the
dare
beach.
they?
Yeah.
Now I want their names and addresses and
No.
emails.
So I was like,
I hope
this
they're
is
out of
not going to work for me.
business.
Yeah, this is not going to work for me. I can't, I'm not good with that. I don't. So I saw an ad for, if you have experience with seniors, this might be a good job for you, blah, blah, blah. We're looking for someone. I put in my resume online. Within 5 minutes, they called me. And the owner called me and said, I think you might be the person we're looking for. Can you come meet me? So I went out and I met him and his wife and his son in Santa Monica, where they were living at the time, and talked to them quite a while. And they said, well, go over and see the property and see if you like it. Talk to the manager who's there now. And her name was Joy. So I spoke to her, came over, saw it, spoke to her, and, you know, we hit it off, seemed to hit it off. But
Keyword seemed.
yeah. He, well, what happened was they offered me the job. They offered me quite a bit more money than what
And she
Joy
didn't
had been
like
making.
it.
and she did not like that one bit.
I don't know why the word got out. I didn't say anything. Okay, but listen,
So
because we're like so into time, it is insane how a beautiful conversation this has become. But I want to talk about a couple of things. So now that you've been here 10 years, you
yeah,
have come to know the elderly in a much different way. What have you learned from all of us,
the
people
thing
of a certain age?
yeah. The thing that I've learned is you don't know what to expect because I spoke to a lady, she was the nicest lady, interior designer, and she was great. She was fine. She was on the ball. She was not that old. The next thing I know, within a week, she was naked and in the middle of the street and totally out of her mind with
Where was I?
dementia.
Where was
You're
I?
on the other
I
you're
missed the
in the other
party.
building. You are in the
Was
other
I?
building.
I don't know. I might have joined her. Was it a
Yeah.
party or something?
Yeah.
What's going on?
She had
Oh,
fast
poor
onset
thing.
dementia and it hit like a ton of bricks. And
Did she have family that came and took care
yeah,
of
her
her?
son and daughter-in-law came, put her in a place, and and
Okay, you see,
it's
yeah.
happened 4 or 5 times like that.
Now,
So you just don't know.
you
The
just don't
people that you
know.
think are most on the ball the next week can be, in a home.
Have you noticed that our elderly spend a lot of time alone?
They do, which is why we try to do a lot of activities.
You
We
do.
have the writers group,
Yes.
we have bingo, I have movie night and birthday parties, and we have
Music.
summer, yeah, music, summer thing, that kind of stuff. So I try to do stuff
You do. You
to
do a
get
great
people
job.
out of their house,
You do.
um and some people want to and some people don't. I mean, some
Now,
people like to be alone,
yes, yes, I have
you know.
enjoyed these 16 years completely alone. And
Right.
it's very hard to get out of it anymore. You
Well,
don't want to have anybody.
that is why I think I'm not doing theater. And as I come home and I sit and I'm like, I'm just so happy to be here alone with my dogs. I don't want to talk to anybody. I don't want to.
With all 320 of them.
Yeah.
But listen, you're such a beautiful lady. I am so grateful to have known you all these years. Can you believe it's been that long? Over 20 years.
I know it's crazy. And I'm still
That
working on Katrina.
and Michael is still working on Eva. That is a fellow writer and actor and director. But that's just so insane. But if you can leave us with one beautiful piece of advice from a life well lived, fully lived,
Yeah.
what would that be?
You know, enjoy the moment, every moment, because whatever moment it is what it is. And then the next one's going to be something different. So if you're present and alive, be there. Don't be somewhere else. Don't be in the future. Don't be in the past. That's the hardest thing I see with seniors is they're in the past. They're living when they were 20 or they were living when their
Really?
husband was still alive or their wife was still alive. And it's like,
Oh,
that doesn't serve you. It makes you sad. It keeps you,
absolutely.
and it's not good for your health. I think part of the reason why people's health deteriorates is because they're sad and they don't have any way to express what they're feelings and they're so stuck in what was or what could be or what anything but what is right now because they don't
And,
have
and
anything right now.
and some of us have also learned, and I'm not talking for me because I've been alone for so long, that it is very difficult for me to get the idea that I might have somebody in my life. I think about it for a second and then I turn around. I go, no, because I'm
Yeah,
just
no.
fine like I am. Yeah,
Yeah.
no. But there are people who cannot at this point and at this age. They've lost a husband or their children have left them, abandoned them really, and they get into this depression and this mood. Like for my mother, it's very difficult for her to
Yeah.
accept where she's at in life. And unfortunately, there's not much that we can do. You have to enjoy every second. I tell everybody, I turned 70 and I could not be more grateful that I'm still walking, I'm running, I'm moving, I'm dancing, I'm doing everything because once it stops moving, we stop.
I'm sorry. Did you say you turned 70?
70. Thank
Oh my
you.
God. Nobody
Thank
would ever
you.
know it. No one would ever know it. You need to start lying about your age. No, no
Okay.
one would ever know it. I mean, just for Hollywood.
57.
There you go. Okay, maybe 62.
Okay, we'll go to 62 and a half. My birthday's coming up.
Okay.
Chia, I love you dearly. Thank
I
you
love
so
you
much
too.
for being the amazing woman that you have been all these years.
Oh, thank you.
Always extending a hand out. Had it not been for you reaching out when I put out desperately on social media, I can't find a place for me and my dog. And you said, I'll take you. And then you said Duarte, and I go, where the hell is that? Because I was coming all the way from Simi Valley. But
Right.
I learned to be a lover of the San Gabriel Mountains. I look at the mountains every day, breathe the fresh air, go for hikes. I mean, life is good. And like I said, this is truly a full circle moment with you. Thank
Yes.
you.
Thank
Thank you very
you.
much. I love you
Thank
dearly. Thank
you.
you for being on
Blessings.
Entre Abuelitas. Thank you. And for all of you, my friends, yes, we've gone over time. And I don't know, just stick around with us because this has been an amazing conversation. I just want you to remember that joy doesn't have to be loud to count. Sometimes it's just a good cup of coffee or a quiet moment or even just spending time with someone who makes you feel seen. Remember, take all the joys that you can, all the little ones, because those are the ones that keep us human. Until the next time, this is Entre Abuelitas with my beautiful friend Chia Casselle, and her beautiful cat, because she not only has dogs, she has cats.
Just one cat.
She's just one. No, there were more before. I know that.
Oh, yes, there was. There was. That's right. When I had a roommate, there were three
and
when I had
she
roommates.
and she finds someone along the gates around here too. So yeah, we have animals in this building. But thank you so much for joining us in Entre Abuelitas. I hope you enjoyed your time with us. Vengan la próxima vez. Join us on Entre Abuelitas en Español. Until the next time, all my love. Take care of each other. Bye bye.
Bye. That was fun.